Welcome back to the Caravan channel. Now get comfortable in your desks because once again we are in the Caravan classroom and the subject on your timetable this week is flaws of caravans and flaws, the things that go wrong. Now it was quite a long time ago when caravans were built with a very robust chassis, and on top of that chassis were lengths of timber like this which were acting as joists and a huge great board on top that was really quite substantial. It was very strong. It was, oh dear, very heavy. And it was very cold if you went away in the winter because there was no insulation there. Some people even stuck polystyrene ceiling tiles from their kitchen underneath. But in 1980, things changed. The manufacturer said, we're going to make lighter chassis. And because they're going to be lighter, we need a floor that complements and works with it. And we need, of course, to have some insulation built in. They decided that they would use a technique called lamination. And I want to explain that very briefly because lamination is clever. It involves layers. And the thing about layers is they individually might actually be quite weak, quite fragile. So even though this is a piece of hardwood, look how easy it broke. No strength to speak of at all. They also decided that they would have to have this insulation built in. Now I've understood the whole principle of this because when I had lots of little children, 4 children that I took skiing, I couldn't afford to get them skis. So what did I do? I used the lamination principle to build them skis using layers that were put together with a very strong adhesive. Don't laugh because yes, this one was made for my 4-year-old son who today is 46 years of age, which proves the system works. And it has worked in caravan manufacture too. And most caravan manufacturers are constructing their own floor panels in the factory itself, rather than buying them in. This is what they do. They use 2 pieces of plywood and they use an insulation. Of course, this has absolutely no strength at all. You know yourself that polystyrene snaps just like a biscuit. So the secret is in the adhesive. They also don't want to make a floor that you can't screw things into to fix the furniture. So we'll watch to see what they do to overcome that matter. So here we go. They start with the plywood. They stick to that with this wonderful adhesive they use, the insulation. If necessary, they insert pieces of timber so that you can screw into something solid when you're fitting a fridge or whatever. Or they might use a kind of plastic timber that's becoming popular, and Bailey is using it now as well. They led the way with this. That sticks on the top, and that is the laminated floor. And if you were wanting to fit an appliance, sorry, this is for my dolly kit and it shouldn't have been a washing machine. No, you don't get washing machines in caravans, but you do get fridges. At least you know there's some timber in there to secure it to, either with bolts or perhaps screws. All is well. It's light, it's strong, it works with the chassis, and it keeps your feet warm because it's got an insulation layer. There is a problem. Sometimes, especially with older caravans, the glue fails. The bits simply come apart. Not all over, but typically around the door where everybody is stepping into the caravan. Another place of weakness is around the kitchen, particularly where the heavy cooker sits, or around the sink and the wash basin, because that's where, again, a lot of people stand. And you can tell this because the floor starts to feel spongy as the laminations part company. Sometimes it starts squeaking a little bit, or you hear groaning sounds. And that is time to get something done, because your chassis depends on the security of the floor. Your dealer can solve it. And in my repair handbooks, I actually go through the processes and show how it's done too, and talk about the chemicals. Look, I'm going to cover this in a future caravan classroom. So please come back and see how it's done. get ready to go back in those desks, get your pencils sharpened to take notes, and I'll see you then.